All right, so we're joined all the way from Tegucigalpa, Honduras, by my friend, the long lost Mac Youngblood, there with the World Gospel Outreach
That's right.
at the El Ranchero Orphanage. Coffee grower, business guy, you name it. They have doing all sorts of things with a nonprofit. They're benefiting the orphans there in Honduras, and something unlike I've ever heard. Grow coffee right there on the grounds,
Yep.
sell it, and that funds all the ministries and services you have going on there. And that is so cool. But you're also from Mississippi, and I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School, and we're recording this for our entrepreneurship class and our friends at Madison Central High School, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining us from way down in Central America today.
Man, thank you so much, Greg. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I love keeping up with you on Facebook and all of the things that you've got going on, the people that you have connected in this group. As Greg and I were talking yesterday, it really inspired me because when I was in high school, I didn't understand all of these concepts and entrepreneur ideas of how to get started with business or understanding what was kind of outside of my little realm of life. And so it was really neat. Quick little background: Dr. Pygott and I, we went
You're
to
not a
together.
doctor. Thanks.
Dr. Pygott is what he is in my books. Yeah, he and I grew up at church together, and so we used to run the halls of First Baptist Jackson downtown, and we loved it. And so I grew up in Rankin County, and I went to Northwest Rankin for most of my life. And as a slow white kid, I would never be able to compete at Northwest Rankin as a 6A school, and so I transferred over to Jackson Academy, where I at least stood a chance to see a little bit of playing time as I was out on the football field. And
Yeah, but then you went to Mississippi State.
I went to Mississippi
You were
State.
a Bulldog cheerleader, which is super cool. You know, you were a
Yeah,
Division I athlete.
yeah.
So talk a bit about your college experience before we get into your business, because one, what you majored in at Mississippi State, and then for the kids that maybe want to be an athlete, because being a Division I cheerleader is not, just something to just show up on game day.
No, it certainly wasn't. And so for me, I wanted to be able to make the most of my 4 years of undergrad at Mississippi State, the most impactful that it could possibly be. So I got involved in this, I got involved in that. And, I enjoyed baseball. I grew up playing rec baseball here and there in the Rankin area, Madison and South Jackson and Level Woods. Greg, I think you remember that location
Yeah,
playing some
they're actually
baseball over
doing
there.
a renovation on that right now, South Jackson.
No kidding. We
Yes.
used to get dingers knocked over us on the Level Woods field all day long, but it was still a great time and great experience. And so I wanted to make the most of my opportunity while I was there. I had one goal, and that was to be able to become a lawyer. My dad's a lawyer, my brother's a lawyer. I wanted to join the law firm concept and idea. And so that's an important thing because I wanted to share with you what happened and where this kind of went and took me and how God has really taken my experience and moved me into something that I really didn't quite understand. And so at Mississippi State, I went through the business platform. I got a general business degree, but I graduated with an emphasis in law, marketing, and real estate. And so those things, I was sitting there thinking, this is a really cool opportunity to be able to get to do a lot of different things in life. And but my main goal was to be able to go to law school right after that. And you know, I couldn't cut it, to be honest with you. I couldn't get into law school. The LSAT really just wrecked me. But what I did have was the knowledge of understanding about some business marketplace ideas and some marketing. I try to say that I'm a little creative, who knows? But the what it really boiled down to is we all have life experiences as we go through. And it doesn't matter if you're at the age of 5 or the age of 18 where you are now. Take every chance that you have and consider it an open door. And these moments are moments that you have to grow, learn from the mistakes, learn from the positive things, and retain those. And to be able to say, I may be able to use that later on. Greg and I, we were friends growing all the way up. And who knows? We really kind of lost connection, except for Facebook. And I would like his post every now and again on things like that. But it's one of these things that you never know where a relationship, a connection can lead in the next season of your life. And so for me, I graduated from Mississippi State, didn't have a dang clue what I was doing. I got married and moved from Starkville, Mississippi down to Jackson, right behind the old Kenton Country Club, what used to be there. And so that's where my wife and I, we started our family. But I ended up working with State Farm, and I was in sales. I wanted to have my name on the billboard, Mac Youngblood, State Farm. I wanted to be able to go and just live life, but I enjoyed that aspect of insurance. I love insurance even to this day. And so being able to get involved and help people, that's something that I really enjoyed. And so just to in all fairness, I was in a 2-year program to be a State Farm agent, and I finished with 8.5 years. So maybe it was a me thing, who knows? But I took all of those years of experience with State Farm. I worked with 3 different agents, 1 in Jackson and 2 in Columbus, Mississippi. And I learned so much from all these different people. And so all of these factors, I'm telling you all of this so that you understand kind of where I'm at right now. And that door ultimately closed. And that's an okay thing. I want you, as in this class, as you're thinking about what's the next day holds, the next week, the next 6 months, it's okay if a door closes because another one's going to open up somewhere. And that's all right. But take those small little nuggets of time that you get to spend with somebody and embrace yourself with people that are better than you. Because guess what? You will never be the best until you reach the absolute peak perfection of your opportunity that you're going to take on. And so, guys, I say that to say my door closed with State Farm, and that's okay. Because a door opened in Tegucigalpa, Honduras, which is just a little south of us. It's about 1,500 miles due south of Jackson, Mississippi. And it's really not so bad. How many of y'all have ever been to Cancun, Mexico, somewhere down there? That's like going to Little Florida, if you will. But if you keep going down just a little further south, that's where we are. So you've got Mexico, Guatemala, and then Honduras. So we're not too far away, but the environment and the culture is completely different than from what we know in Mississippi. So if there's a chance for you to ever travel, take it. Yeah. I don't care if it's going to Arkansas, go. Just enjoy something outside of your realm of understanding what is Thelma Jackson High School, your close environment there. Go explore, because there are so many more opportunities outside of the town that you grew up in that will open up your eyes to what is out there. And every day I'm learning something new. If you ever stop learning, you're dead in the water. Don't do that. Always be willing to listen to someone else and what they have to say, because it's going to take you to the next level of wherever it is in your life, because you don't realize that maybe that was actually important for something 10 years from now, but you don't know it. Yeah. And so World Gospel Outreach, we've been around, this January was 39 years. So we're starting 39 years of ministry, which is huge. Most NGOs, which are non-governmental organizations, most 501c3 organizations have a tenure of 7 years. Yeah. And so that's just worldwide. So if you take that and realize that we've been around for 39 years, it's because of a lot of grace from God, and it's because we have a lot of people that have continued to pour into the ministry on a daily basis. And so I wanted to share with y'all, talking about coffee, because I'm a coffee snob. I love great coffee. And I wanted to share with y'all the aspects of how coffee can impact something else. And yes, Greg, as you mentioned earlier, coffee does have a huge impact of the ministry that we have going here in Honduras. But whenever you start talking about caring for at-risk kids, you're talking about things that are a lot more than just your standard stuff, because the kids that are in your class, yeah, there's cost a lot to raise a child, but whenever you have 27 of them and you're raising them from very young age to all the way through 18 and then beyond, if they want to go do that, it costs a lot of money. So we actually have a school on campus that is K through 6th grade. We have people that come in and volunteer their summers just to help continue the education of these at-risk kids. So when I say at-risk, we some are truly orphaned, some have family, and so we just use the general term of at-risk. These kids come from very bad situations, very poor situations where the family can no longer take care of the kids. So they become a product of what we know in the U.S. as CPS, Child Protective Services. And so we have the care, custody, and control of these kids to help raise them, to provide for them. So these kids get 3 meals a day, plus 2 snacks. They get transportation to and from the city as needed. They get to go to church down in the city. And when I say down in the city, guys, I want y'all to look it up. If y'all want to do it as we're speaking right now, go, if they're permitted to, Mr. Biden, go to Google Maps, type in Rancho Ebenezer, and you just type in Tegucigalpa or Honduras, and you can go find out where we are exactly. So it's about a 35-minute drive to the city because we're way up in the mountains. It's a very nice secluded area. It's on 85 acres. And so you may be thinking like, man, that's a whole lot. It is, but it's so awesome because we care for these kids in a 24/7, 365 care model. We have people that are called mentor parents, people that pour into the kids' lives. And we have 3 mentor groups of kids. And so each group has counselors. These counselors are not what you and I would understand as a counselor. These people are caregivers. And so the caregivers are there to help with the kids, make sure they get fed in the morning, or they're at lunch to be able to get what they need for eating, make sure they have on the right clothes for the day. And then the mentor parents spend time with them in the afternoon. They help to pour into them biblically. And one of the things I love about our ministry is that their relationship with God is their own. We're not there to sit there and twist their arm and say, you have to do this, because that's not Christ-like. That's not how the Bible teaches us to raise these kids. We're going to do our best to provide for these kids in the most holistic way, to give them the best opportunity to make the best decisions that they can as they go forward in life. I mean, we want them to become Honduran citizens that are as productive, well-knowledged as possible. And so we have a bilingual education at school that we offer them. Once they hit 7th grade, that's actually considered high school. We have primary and secondary, and that's it. No middle school. And so my daughter, who is 14 years old and in 8th grade, she's in high school. And so it's wild to even consider, because when we were growing up, you were still a middle school punk. And so she's that's just one of those aspects. It's just a little different. So once they hit that age, we actually have a program that we work with in the city that provides the education there on campus. And so we actually are able to continue their education on campus at one of the schools, to explain to them, just more about life and the next steps and going through. So they actually get a high school degree. Who are the students able to give me responses, or can I hear them? Or
Yeah, and we got some questions we're going to get to from them.
No, and that's perfect. I'll just go ahead and explain it versus asking the questions. But at what age do y'all think most people end up with an education?
Worldwide or in Honduras?
Just in Honduras.
What we got? What answers do we have? We got 16. Anybody else? Anybody else? We got 16 is our number one answer.
Yeah, between 8 and 12
Wow.
is when their education stops.
Wow.
Because they can no longer afford to go. It's either too expensive, or they have to take care of their younger siblings, or they have to get to work and start making money. And so how much do you think the average poor Honduran lives on money per day? How much money do you think they live on per day?
I think I know this one, but let's see. How much money do you think a poor person in Honduras makes a day? All right, we got $50. What else? Per day.
Yeah.
Y'all are way too high, but we got 100 from a couple people.
$2.
$2.
That's what they live on per day. And so, guys, it's wild to think about, but we have extreme poverty here. And that's something that y'all can look into on a global scale of understanding what poverty is, because there's regular poverty, and we probably have seen a lot of it in Jackson. We understand what that means, but there's extreme poverty. No lights, no running water. And it's crazy. To buy a 5-gallon bottle of water to drink, it's going to cost you $2. So just to have water to drink is going to cost you an entire day's wage for a lot of these kids. And so we want to be able to pour into them. So whenever I say that we provide 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks, that should open your mind to say, whoa. So there's a lot of money that goes into running a ministry such as this.
And another thing about Honduras is actually one of the most dangerous countries in the world as well. So even when education stops, a lot of people don't live into the old age because the murder rate is so high in Honduras.
It is. Now let me clarify where the murder happens. And I've lived here since 2015 with my whole family. My wife and my daughters are at school currently. And so there's a lot of stuff. And guys, I want y'all to write this name down because I want y'all to go research it because it's a highly important issue right now that's going on in the federal courts of New York City. But his name is Juan Orlando Hernandez. That is the former president of Honduras, and he was taken into custody by the U.S. federal government, and he is actually being tried for arms, guns trafficking, money trafficking, and drugs. And his brother is currently in prison for the rest of his life for that very reason. And so the U.S. government is saying, you had a part in this, and he's saying, I didn't. And so he's actually in jail. The dangerous aspect of this is I don't feel uncomfortable walking around in Tegucigalpa. Now, guys, show of hands, how many people there are certain neighborhoods you just don't go into at night?
Yeah.
I think we all know one of those places, don't we? Exactly. Guess where I don't go at night in some of these places in Honduras? Yeah, no duh. And so that's just one of those things that you don't do the dumb things, which is getting involved in drugs and getting involved with the gangs and dealing with those things. So, it's really unique. But I will say, me as a Christian working with the church, we actually partner with a lot of churches in dangerous neighborhoods.
Wow.
And we call them hot zones. And so working within these hot zones, we can be walking around. I've got my phone, whatever this is a OnePlus. It's just an Android phone. I've got a GoPro. I've got my regular Canon, nice camera with me, and I don't feel unsafe. But I'm in a very hot zone walking around in this area. But I walk with the church. I don't go off by myself. Yeah. So yeah, you want to do things right. So the murder rate is high amongst people that are involved in the gangs.
Yeah.
So you involve yourself in the wrong groups. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get capped. And so we got to be smart about what we do and the involvements that we have. And so that is a dangerous aspect of Honduras, but it's also a very real thing. And guys, there's a movie called American Made with Tom Cruise, and it's true to this day of how they run drugs. And so Honduras is the capital of all of the cocaine that's coming in from South America is coming in through Honduras. It's a very sad situation, but it's a very real situation. It's a business in that sense. So what we try to do is pour into the people that we work in and around. We have a ministry that's apart from our children's home that also does medical outreach. We build churches for people. We build homes for people that, when I say extreme poverty, they're excited to have a 10 by 10 wooden house. That's it. Because they didn't have anything before. And all it is just a couple of windows, a door, and a roof. And that's something that is very important to them. And to see the smiles on their faces is incredible. So there are ways of getting involved and getting plugged in. But I want to kind of touch on coffee and how that looks for the ministry. As you have been around for many, many years, you got to learn how to diversify. And so how does our ministry make money? I've got a video, Greg, I shared it with you. You can share it with the class as you see fit. It's a little 1 minute long video about how we wanted to thank a ministry in the U.S. that donated money for our kids to be able to have food. And so we use that money directly to be able to buy the food that we need for those kids. So we have people that make regular donations to us monthly. We have people that come down on teams that represents money coming into the ministry. And we have people that want to sponsor children, just like you would understand Compassion International is maybe a name that y'all have heard of in the States. That is what we do with our specific 27 children, is you can sponsor a child. And that just creates a relationship with somebody in the U.S. who wants to be able to get connected and just love on a child that's at risk, that needs additional support. So those monies go directly to operating our children's home. We have a psychologist, we have ranchers, we have teachers, we have counselors, we have mentor parents, we have to buy gas, we have to pay for insurance. Guys, things aren't free. It costs money to do all of these things and to be able to raise our children the best. And so we actually go through an annual audit every single year to be able to verify, you know what, we're in good standing with the government because we do exactly what we say we're going to do with our funds. And another thing is our coffee. So about a few years ago, we used to sell our coffee for $10 a bag. And so who here likes coffee?
Oh,
We have
they all like. Yeah,
we all like coffee. And so, you know how I drink my coffee? I always like to say I like to drink my coffee like I like my wife, strong and bitter. And so I like to drink it black, no sugar, no cream. And when you start drinking really good coffee, and I don't mean Starbucks, I'm saying really good coffee, you can actually start to taste the flavors. You can taste the idea of the soil that it's grown in, whether it's acidic or whether it's a smooth soil. It's wild once you finally get to understand the quality of what coffee actually represents. And so we had people that were buying our coffee left and right at $10 a bag. But then we said, you know what? Let's go have our coffee tested. And so we started having our coffee tested. It's based on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being bad, 100 being the best. And our coffee, it has improved from about 80 all the way up to 86, which qualifies as specialty coffee. So when you use the word specialty, organic, and single origin, it represents extreme high quality coffee because it's not often that you're going to get those three factors all in one bag of coffee.
Wow.
And so we offer a 1 pound bag of coffee. Because guys, I know you're going to do this. Next time you go to the grocery store, next time you pop into your even Starbucks, next time you pop into a local coffee shop, you're going to see that they offer a bag of coffee. It's going to be 12 ounces. We do 1 pound. It's 4 more ounces, but the reality and mentality behind it is that we want to offer the most product. And so guys, we offer our product at $50 a bag. Our coffee, comparatively speaking, on the free trade market is around $33, $36 a pound. And so if you sit there saying, wow, $50, I can't even. Okay, well, the reality is if you're going to get our specific coffee, you can buy it for $36 thereabouts on the free trade market for the same thing. But what we're doing is we're giving you a tax deduction for this. So you actually get a $40 tax deduction because we are a registered 501c3 based out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And that gives us the opportunity to take all $50. I use that $50 to ship you coffee because you don't pay for shipping. You don't pay taxes on it. And I send it to the US. So there's a whole lot of cost that I have going into getting you your coffee. But at the end of the day, you get a bag of really good, delicious whole bean or ground coffee.
That you cannot get anywhere else.
No.
Yeah.
No, you cannot get my coffee anywhere else except for our subscription service.
Right there on the property.
Yep.
And you can't get it anywhere else in the world. And then on top of that, we like to talk about perceived value. On top of all that, they have a tangible thing they can see where their money actually goes.
Yeah. And so, Greg, if I have the opportunity, I think this is a good time. Let me show my screen and I'll show you all a video. Let me click here. Let's go to this video here. All right, guys, I think we're up and running, aren't we?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
What if the coffee you make and drink every morning could have a purpose? One that extends far beyond simply enjoying a cup of coffee. What if the coffee you drink actually helped change the lives of children? At least 2/3 of the population of Honduras live in extreme poverty. When the government finds a child living in abuse, neglect, or extreme cases of poverty, they often permanently remove the child from their biological family. Due to a lack of funds, there aren't any long-term government-run centers. This is where we come in and why Rancho Ebenezer exists. Our founders saw the great need for these displaced children to have a special place to heal from their hurt and learn about Jesus. Our 80-acre campus is where we provide 24/7, 365 care to these at-risk and displaced children. We surround them with a positive, loving Christian home. They receive food, clothing, medical care, Christian mentorship, and education at the hands of loving caregivers. It's the same kind of loving care you and I would give to our own children. But unlike most families, this also includes the costs of caretakers, clinical workers, teachers, and mentor parents, all on staff. This is where WGO's Private Coffee Reserve comes in. Deep green coffee plants flourish, nestled beneath towering canopy shade trees in one of the nation's iconic subtropical rainforests. This is the perfect environment to grow rich, organic coffee. The coffee beans are handpicked, gently washed, and sun-dried for the most natural flavor. Our private coffee reserve exists for one purpose: to raise the funds needed to care for the children. This is where you come in. Today, we are asking you to prayerfully consider becoming a member of our monthly coffee club. You can help us bring hope to the children at Rancho Ebenezer and to those we serve in the city by becoming a member. So sit back and enjoy a great cup of coffee, knowing you are making a difference in the life of a child. Savor a cup, save a child.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, guys, it's really a neat opportunity to be able to consider drinking coffee and helping somebody else, not really realizing it. Because how many times have we gone up to Starbucks and another coffee shop and bought a nice, delicious frappe, pink, whatever drink, and we've spent $4, $7 on this coffee, and then how quickly is it gone after that? But if you start to sit back and enjoy a cup of coffee and knowing that this is helping somebody else, it's a really cool thing. And we're based out of Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. We've had missionaries from all over Mississippi come down and serve. And my home church is Pine Lake. I'm sure y'all may have heard of Pine Lake over in Clinton, over in Flowood.
Right down the
And
road.
so, Greg, you go to church right around the corner from there, Word of Life. I know that. And so it's really cool to be able to be a partner and to get connected with people that are in Mississippi. And I was just talking with somebody who was from Atlanta, Georgia a couple of days ago. And it's just neat to be able to talk business with somebody from the South. There's something special about Southern people that I, of course, love. But
it's been a while since we've had a nonprofit business owner, but I think it's a good example of you can be an entrepreneur and raise funds, and you're not just one of these people just putting money in your pocket.
No.
Obviously, you told me the sales and the donations help feed your family and take care of everything, but you're providing a service in a place where there was nothing, because we always say entrepreneurs, whether they're for profit or nonprofit, they solve a problem. And obviously, World Gospel Outreach saw a problem in Honduras, and now they're able to do that, and they're able to run a successful business. And not only are people getting a great product, but they're contributing to a great cause.
Absolutely. And just to give you all a heads up, guys, my family and I, we raise our own support, 100% of it, to be able to live down here. And that's completely separate from anything that the ministry is involved in that sense. And so people donate to WGO for Mac and Ashley, but the coffee, that 100% of those proceeds go to benefit the kids that we're helping to raise and care for. And so, guys, I want to give y'all a kind of a reality to this whole thing, is that, we all have ideas of what it takes to be successful, and we all define those in different ways, but it's neat. I had a point, forgive me, I was rambling, I couldn't figure out where I was going with that. But if we just take the opportunities that are in front of us and continue to run with them, we're going to be able to find ways to go out and serve others. So my point may come back to me, forgive me. Why don't we go into some questions, because I do have to go get my girls from school.
I've got, and all these are seniors. This was Marion Bolton. He's really interested in the trucking industry, but he asked, if you ever had a coffee not sell as good as you expected, and what changes would you do to improve sales?
If I had coffee that was not selling,
That did not sell as good as you expected, what changes would you do to improve sales?
I would take customer feedback. I would find out what went wrong. You have to have a thick skin. You have to be able to hear the bad news. And if you're wanting to get into business, get prepared to be alone, because a lot of the decisions that get made are made by you for the betterment of the entire situation that you're in. And sometimes that comes at a cost, and that cost is going to hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah,
It's
and
gonna
like I
hurt yours.
always say, you need the customer more than the customer needs you. You have to be able to show them, you are giving them a tangible thing and a tax write-off, but if the coffee sucks, it really defeats the whole purpose.
I had an email that came through right at Christmas time that said, "Hey, just to let you know, this coffee tasted flat. Have no idea what was going on with it. Please send me a fresh bag." And guess what I did? Send them a fresh bag of coffee. My bad. I can't control that because there's just so many factors that go into this. But I sent them a fresh bag of coffee because I had to suck it up and eat that cost and send them another bag. And you're going to do what's right to help grow your business. But I will tell you, have a thick skin because you're going to hear things that may hurt your feelings. But you need to be able to take that with a grain of salt and say, how do I do better? If you're unwilling to move or budge, then you may be sinking and you don't realize it. So be willing to listen what the customer has to say, but be willing to stand firm and stand by your product and your position as well to be able to say, no, this is mine. This is what we're doing. And this is how we're going to do it because it's going to provide you with the best opportunity. So don't roll over every time, but be willing to stand by your product and say, hey, look, if you provided a bad service, fix it.
Oh, absolutely. This is Shania Charleston, and she asked, how many people do you have that currently subscribe to your coffee club?
Yeah, great question. We have anywhere between 150 and 170 people on a monthly basis. We have some that come and go. And so 100% of the proceeds of our coffee does go directly to benefit the kids at the ranch. And so that's one of the beautiful things I love about it is not many companies or organizations are able to say that particular thing. And so it goes right back into the ministry of what we're doing. My goal is to take our children and get them fully funded. You know, the more children we have, the more funding opportunities we have, the more adoptions of child sponsorships that we have. And then also with coffee. And then once we get to a point where we're completely funded with grants and regular donations, plus our child sponsorships, plus coffee and teams and things like that, all of these factors of monies coming in help to allow us to be able to flourish. And so with that, we will be able to then divert some of those coffee funds to be able to go do other things, buying water filters and giving people water to be able to drink and enjoy and not be sick after what they've been able to, what they have been drinking from what is roof water or groundwater, whatever that may be. And so, yeah, great question.
Now this is Miles Woodard, and we did talk briefly about this, and I think it's cool. You said the exact same thing I said about how to show you're including things with the price, because he asked, how did you come up with your monthly package prices?
You know, that's it. I inherited this project, and so I don't know that $50 is the exact right price point. Maybe I change it to $40 and I start include shipping because people are saying, I don't want to pay $50, but whenever you go on to Amazon, what do? You pay $40 and then you know that you're going to have taxes and you know that you're going to have to pay for something for shipping. And so you spend $50, don't you? So it's a mentality switch that you have to have. So if I start doing something very similar to that, then I may have more people jump on board, but I'm still gaining the same amount of money. And so, I'm weighing out a lot of options right now. This entire morning I have been spending on cost analysis, figuring out how to do things best. And it could just be something as a simple switch that's the exact same thing, the same result. But somebody may say, well, I can afford $40. I'm not going to pay 50. Because I have people tell me to directly to my face, that's a dumb price. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to win everybody over, but I at least want to be able to tell you all the cool things about the coffee and what it does. And so, yeah, $50 is just kind of what came in from somebody about 3 or 4 years ago. And that's what we've stuck with. And so I'm currently researching new options. I offer 2 different styles of coffee, whole bean and ground. And while that's great, how many people here love the idea of a cinnamon coffee or of French vanilla or hazelnut or whatever? People love their flavored coffee. How many people drink the K-cups?
Yeah, I'm
I want you to understand something really cool about K-cups. Those things cost a ton to make. There are 3 factories in China that make all of the K-cups for the entire world.
I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. So you have to buy a lot of them, and I'm meaning an LOT lot of 100,000 capsules. And then you have to buy the packaging, and then you have to buy the packaging at 25,000 boxes. So when you go into your Sam's Club and you see 98 K-Cups for $48. Okay. Know that they are making about a penny to 2 pennies per capsule, but they're
Wow.
relying on volume. I can't rely on volume at that kind of number. I have to rely on dollars, because the investment that I would make to be able to make such a product, which I do have access to, it's just extremely expensive. And so I have to weigh out, is it worth it? How do I get it to the US? How do I ship it from there without the capsules breaking? I can't afford to make 25,000 boxes of them, but I have to come up with ways to be creative on giving new ideas, different styles of coffee. And so I've actually got a little half-pound bag of coffee that I'm gonna start making some flavored coffee and sell it at a reduced price.
Oh, wow.
And give people an opportunity to drink coffee, but sell them in smaller lots of 300 bags to be able to get them out. And so how do you, I think one of the previous questions was, how do you market? I sold 200 bags right off the bat with my first seasonal coffee, which was a dark roast. But I still have 100 bags sitting in Dallas that need to get sold. And so that comes in with the marketing aspect and figuring that out. Oh, guys, I remember what I was going to say. To get into missions, to get into whatever we were going to do in life, not once did I ever take a Bible class. I grew up in church. I'm born again Christian, and it was at Disciple Now back whenever I was 16, and I think you may have been 17, 18 at the time. And we had a great Disciple Now conference, and I prayed to receive Christ, and so we were born again back then. And so you look at the situation and go, well, how did you get involved in this? How did you get to do this? There are ways to get involved with different types of personalities, different types of degrees, different types of whatever. It's just a matter of being able to say yes to whatever that is. Because I went from selling insurance to now serving in the mission field and bringing missionaries down, recruiting people, to now I'm selling coffee, and the concept of helping others and helping to grow our child sponsorships, how to connect with other people. So you don't have to be a certain anything to do something in life. You just have to have the willingness to do it.
Now this is Octavia Johnson, and actually I got to get you set up with her older sister. Her older sister graduated from a Reformed Theological Seminary and is a Christian counselor here in Jackson. But her question is, how has your business changed from when you first started to now?
I took over back in January of last year in 2022 and started working with it and figuring things out. I had someone come in and help to refine our roasting technique and fixing that. So being willing to invest into others who know more about something than you do is crucial. Reading books about how to figure out how to do something is highly important, and being willing to have the humbleness and humility to be able to say, okay, I can learn from this. And so coming up with some different ideas. I've had my hands in a lot of different fires over the past year of working through ministry, working through the pandemic. And the pandemic for the rest of the world is normal. But our new president, even though we're a democratic society, she is a tried and true socialist. And so we don't know why, but we are still required by law to wear masks. And we're the only country in the entire world left that requires masks. Wow. It's ridiculous. But I think it's a law, unfortunately. And when I mean a law, government signed it into law that we have to wear masks. So in order to reverse that, you have to go through Congress to reverse it. But they're dealing with so much other stuff right now, it's kind of ridiculous. And so that's probably on the last thing that they're worried about dealing with. And so, but good question.
Well, we're almost out of time, and I know you got to go. We thank you so much for joining us, and just such a cool concept and cool ministry you have. But before we go, first of all, tell us where they can find the coffee, and if they want to subscribe or if they want to contribute, anything like that. And also,
absolutely.
And also we talked, and you said, look, whether you want to be a missionary or you want to work in just in a local mainstream deal, why do these nonprofits need business-minded people?
Yeah, that's a great statement. Guys, if y'all want to go check out my ministry, it's WGOreach.org. So worldgospeloutreach.org. And guys, my coffee is inside of there. You can check out my children. I happen to step in and help with the website. I'm not a web guy, but I've had to learn how to do it. And you put your hands in different things to help out as much as you can. And so go check it out. You'll see our kids on there a lot more. You'll be able to check out our coffee. If you want to come and serve as well, there's places that you can click on to go and serve, and you can come serve during the summer for a week to 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. We'll take it, help however we can get it. We want to make sure that you're good and healthy emotionally and spiritually as well. But we also have a campus over in Belize, which is really cool. So go check out all of our different sites that we have. I created a blog that's on the main page that gives you a little more in-depth stuff as well. So go get involved and check that out. And yeah, Greg, what he was mentioning is we want to be able to help one another, and we want to be able to get involved. There are different ways of doing that. And so for me, whenever I recruit people to become a missionary with me, do I want you to be a missionary with me? Absolutely. But is it the right decision for you? Maybe not. But there are ways to get involved and help wherever you are. Right there in Thelma Jackson High School, you got opportunities to go and serve somebody some way. When you see somebody asking for money, because I even told Greg yesterday, there was a little boy that came up and was just asking me for money and asked me for food. I didn't have anything to give him, but my person across the table from me had some pizza, and they gave him the last slice of pizza, and he sat there and just engulfed it. It was the kid's hungry, and it's a legitimate, I'm hungry. And so being able to just say, how do I get involved and how do I help? That's the biggest hurdle that people have in life, is because they don't want to. They're scared. And Greg, I'm trying to remember the name of the church. I think it's New Covenant Church that's off of Terry Road in West Jackson, that is where the Dairy Queen is. I think there was an old Dillard's maybe across the street, but there's a Assembly of God church, and we got sent there by our church to go help out. And it was really cool because we started working with a lot of the kids in the West Jackson area. And you don't realize what it means to be present. There are so few people serving others in this world, and I'm not referring to just Christian ministries, I'm talking about just serving others, that it's a declining benefit that people have. And so if there are ways that you can get involved in something, get involved. Just go do it. And that's what I tell people when they're wanting to go and serve. Maybe God's calling you to the Middle East, or maybe he's calling you to Africa. Maybe it's here to Spanish-speaking Honduras. And I didn't know a lick of Spanish when I moved here. I literally flew here with zero Spanish. But now I'm pretty decent at speaking Spanish. It's just a matter of your willingness to do it and saying yes. But being able to say, yes, I will go and serve, is going to make the biggest difference, because the people that are serving, they're tired. I'm tired. I'm working 60 hours a week. We need people serving. It doesn't matter where it is. I need y'all helping to sell my coffee for me there. Be my hands and feet. Help to get my kids sponsored at your local church, your local organization. Take it on as a school to say, hey, let's help to sponsor these kids fully, and get their parents to help sign up to sponsor these children. We have different ways of getting involved, but I want you to open your eyes to what's around you, because you don't realize how many opportunities you have. And Greg, if there's an opportunity at the school that showcases different projects right there next to your school, direct the kids there so they know where to go to say, hey, I'm going to go help someone else today, because that's really what is needed, is someone to say, yes, I'll help you.
Man, what great stuff, and such a great concept. And I tell you, one of the few things that COVID gave us was opportunity to do this. A few years ago, this would be unheard of, but
Right.
you got to go get your kids. And but again, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Really needed this, and like you said, just say yes. Mac Youngblood, all the way from Tegucigalpa, Honduras. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Greg, give all the kids my email. If they ever want to contact me, I'm available to chat and talk. If they ever have an idea or a concept to run by me, it may not be the best advice, but I'll give them something to at least to hold on to. So guys, if y'all ever have any questions about what does ministry look like, what does serving look like, then go with that. And Greg, did you ever get in contact with Ken Sanders? I know.
It was my high school classmate. Yeah. So
Yeah. So the first guy who was wanting to get in the trucking business, go talk to Ken. because that guy fell off
Yeah, Ken
the
Sanders.
tracks 100
Yeah,
times, but he got back up.
He is the guy when it comes to trucking business. So he
Yeah.
will definitely be with us very soon.
That's awesome. He's going to tell you and shoot you straight. And I watched that guy because he and I got to know each other soon after college, and just hearing his story and just watching him from where he was a failed businessman, making dumb mistakes, to looking at him now, it's night and day. He's got 20 trucks underneath him. I mean, figure it out. Go ask that guy. And so, yeah, good luck to all of y'all. And I'm here if y'all ever wanted to chat. My email's there, and we'll go from there, guys. Y'all have a wonderful one. I appreciate y'all.
Even though you're in Honduras, Hail State.
Let's go.
See ya.